ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Tay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. It is the Morning Shake with me, your host, Xavier Hendricks, and of course, my co-host, Mr. J. Paris.
What's happening? What's happening? Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world. It's your boy, J. Paris. We're coming to you live on this beautiful Monday morning from Johannesburg, South Africa. It's the Morning Shake powered by The Inside Show, and it's one of the best podcasts in the world. Good morning, Johannesburg. What's up?
Hey, man, listen, bro. I'm not sure how I feel about today, bro, because, I was struggling to wake up this morning.
It's been hardcore. Likewise, bro. a lot of, and we're obviously gonna tell the viewers, probably some know, but I also woke up with a lot of aches and pains, bro. But you know the saying, no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
It's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful feeling. Obviously, yeah. This past weekend was our church's youth camp, the Rhythm Youth Camp, and it was turned. Unbelievable, bro.
Now listen, man. So as Jay said, this past weekend, of course, we're waiting for our guest to pull through, and of course, I know a lot of you guys have been tuning in for our guest this morning, and she will be here shortly. She did hit us up to say that she's definitely on her way, and she'll be here shortly. But while we wait for her, we want to tell you about what happened this weekend, man. It was. Bro, I'm sore, my back is sore, my arms are sore, my legs are sore, everything's sore. And the reason for this is, ladies and gentlemen, like Jay said, it was the youth camp. And we went to a place out in Brits. Yeah. And big shout out to the people out there. They were really loving, they were really supportive, they were really, they were showing us a bunch of love, man.
Beautiful place, beautiful experience, bro.
Beautiful people. We had some nice people helping us out there. We had some people that... outside of our team, our personal team that we had going, we also had a team out there that was assisting us with obstacles and all that kind of stuff. And so what happened, we split the teams into two, and some teams are doing different things, other teams are doing other things. But there was these obstacle courses, bro. And so what happened, Jay and I, right, we into videography, so we were busy recording, we were busy shooting, getting drone shots, everything, whatever, putting together a nice, solid production. And next thing you know is...
All the youngins are like...
Everyone's like, hi, guys, are you guys scared? Why are you guys not going to come? Why must we go through it alone? Benji is like, you think we're scared? Let's show you. And so we did it, man. And we jumped in on the action. We decided to put the cameras away, put the phones away, put the drones away, put everything away, get into our dirty clothes, and get in on the action. And on the action, we got in for sure, man. I mean, we were crawling through tunnels with mud. We were crawling up things. We were crawling down things. Yes, bro, my arms are open here,
bro, my triceps are like feeling it this morning,
yeah, it's been a hectic one. But I don't know, what was your experience, bro?
Yeah, let me just get into the comments real quick. We got Nathan back, bro. What up, gents? Welcome back. It's come on, fantastic there with the capital F and A for the FA Cup, bro. You'll know you're going to get battered in the final, but we'll leave that for another day. Then we got Elton saying, morning, gents. What's happening?
Nate, you're always on a mission,
come on, bro. It's Monday morning, Nate. Let's leave that for another time, bro. Let's leave that for another time. But yeah, broski, nonetheless, it's like we started with it's like this thing where there's a lot of mud and you literally have to crawl under the bridge. And that large bridge, bro, there's like literally this amount of space where you have to literally like dive into it,
you have to swim in the mud, yeah.
Hey, bro, but it was a fantastic experience, broski. Fantastic experience. I mean, there was a lot of young people there who enjoyed the experience, enjoyed the moment, and there's obviously a lot to learn from those obstacles that we went through. It's not just the fun and games, but those are the stuff that takes place in life as well, bro. A lot of challenges and ups and downs, hills and battles, highs and lows.
I want to tell you, now go for it.
Yeah, bro, where you just have to persevere, push through. But I think just the old energy and the camaraderie and people together helping each other, because bro, it was that type of thing, like, let's go, push through it. It's the last one. It's the last one. Give it the last one. Let's go.
You know, it was nice to me, bro. But before I continue telling you what big highlights were and what feedback is from people, and also what life lessons can be learned out of doing these physical obstacles and how it mentally helps you to overcome obstacles, we obviously today is a jam-packed day, bro. We got a show now in the morning, and to everyone watching online, I see Juan Won is back on. Thank you so much for pulling through, bro. Today we're gonna give you a double special, and simply because we haven't been doing shows for the past couple of Mondays because of public holidays and because of a bunch of other things that were happening in between. And so we decided, now let's give you a double barrel today and two big hitters, heavy hitters in the industry, and some interesting shows. So again, for those of you online, we're definitely having another show tonight at 7, and we're going to be back in studio live again, lights on, everything ready to rumble, and we're going to give you a show at 7 p.m. tonight with none other, and we've been hinting and joking and judging and not judging, joking and kind of throwing out clues, and we finally put out the poster. We're having Kaylee Lowe tonight, and she's been going viral all over social media.
Kaylee who?
Yeah, bro, Kaylee Lowe official. I'm sticking to that name, not the other name. She's gonna pull through tonight. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great time, and we're looking forward to that. So if you wanna come check out that tonight, she's been going viral all over the place. People are sending the videos. I think that one of the videos have over 1 million views. It's really gone viral. So we hit her up. She's gonna come through tonight and share with us her whole viral moment and what she's about to do, what she's getting up to. So that's gonna be fun. But back to the weekend, bro. What happened was that there's a lot of lessons being learned in the process of doing physical strenuous activity. I know Andrew Tate always says, he says, a healthy body brings a healthy mind.
Yeah.
When you feel like you can conquer the day, where you feel like I'm out here, you know, I'm here, man, I'm doing the things. It helps strengthen your mind also to think like, now, okay, any obstacle that comes my way, I'm able to push through and fight through.
Bro.
And close to the end of the weekend, we went through. Look, we had about 110 young people in a room and in a space together, which was a nice turnout, you know. And going through we split everyone into circles, and they were discussing their experiences in their circles. And then going through each moment, going through asking them personally, how did you feel? What did you feel? A lot of people were saying, now that I know I can overcome actual obstacles, I know that I can overcome, you know, my mental obstacles and my work obstacles and all those elements. Now I know that I can overcome those. And so it's like that. It's that physical and mental being able to overcome on that level, right? And so that was a big plus for me. And that was really, really interesting.
Bro. Obviously, in today's life, the young people's going through a lot, bro, with social media, just the internet in general, bro. Also problems at home, but just to come together like this past weekend.
But you know what I also like, bro? There were no charges in the room. The signal was a mess where we were.
Yeah, bro. There was absolutely no signal at all.
You know what's beautiful about that, bro? People literally started leaving their phones alone.
Bro, which in all honesty for me, bro, when I got back and I got signal, I'm laying in bed, I was like, I'm on my phone just checking up. Obviously, there was no signal. I'm like,
what did I miss?
This is like, actually, I don't need this thing. I don't need this
thing. I didn't miss much.
Because without it, it brings that peace. It brings that tranquility, bro. Like on the Friday night when we went for that walk and so forth on, bro. But just in general, outside of the obstacles, obviously the worship experience, the worship encounter, bro. The Friday night when the new youth leader, Justin, did the box effect. I think that was also, or is a...
Saturday night.
The Saturday night. Apologies, the Saturday night. That's a big standout for me, bro, because I didn't expect that to happen. So the box effect is obviously where you write down stuff that you want to leave behind. You put it in the box, and then afterwards we had a bonfire where we actually burnt the box and burnt everything you want to leave behind. I didn't expect it to turn out that
People were
way,
writing
bro.
like
People were
pages,
writing
bro.
essays and literally crying, bro. Literally crying. I thought it's just going to be some sort of formality. Okay, let's do this just because we have to do it. But just the encounter and the testimonies we heard yesterday before we left, bro, of how God has really showed up and moved in
Bro,
in the hearts.
Do you think there's a shift with young people now in the 21st century where people are starting to question starting to question their faith more and starting to actually deep dive into understanding God better and understanding spirituality better? I've been sensing that. I don't know.
I think there definitely is a shift, bro. I was speaking to a lot of young people, and they were saying that again, the internet, social media has this sort of camouflage thing where you're hiding behind the likes, you're hiding behind the bougie, you're hiding behind the, or everything that's taking place. But deep down, they're actually broken, and in that brokenness, they're actually thirsting and have that hunger after God. I mean, this weekend, broski, it was that thing like, whoa, the youth actually, they do want God in their life. Bro. They want God in their lives, and it was so refreshing and inspiring to see, bro. So yeah, definitely, there's definitely that shift taking place, and I mean, bro, God is lit.
Now, of course, bro, of course. You know, I was watching an interesting conversation yesterday. I follow another guy who does also podcasts and YouTube and stuff. His name is Ruslan. You know, we always watch his things. Yeah. And so he was interviewing a guy called Dex, right, which is like a rapper, and he's not necessarily a Christian rapper. He does a bunch of secular stuff as well, but he was interviewing him about his faith, interviewing him about like, yo, past couple of your songs have had God shown a lot more in your songs. Are you Christian? What's the vibe? Because I'm starting to sense there's like a spiritual kind of energy going on here. What is the vibe? And he came out and said, hey, look, we're living in tricky times, man, and we gotta really, if you can't see by now that there's something happening in the spiritual space, then I don't know where you're living and what's happening, but there's definitely something going on in the spiritual space, and there's definitely an awakening happening. That look, Satan is real, evil is real, but also God is real, and we're gonna see some stuff happening. Read the comments there, bro.
Yeah, so Laura Lee is here as well, saying good morning, famo. What's happening? And then Nathan, man, I miss those youth events. Now, most definitely, bro. Shane is like, the camp was amazing, guys. I agree with that. Laurie's like, missed out on the camp, but I saw the post. Missed the team. I think we're probably going to have another one, bro. I think yesterday the conversation was when we got back, it was like, yo, that was so nice.
Everyone was like, when are we having like another one?
In spring. So we'll
see. Bro, but we'll see how it goes. But
yeah.
You know, it's nice for the people. But you as the team and it's running around, you start feeling it after a while. And especially when you have some kids that are a little bit, you know, they're in a different space and they're not really sure about who they are and what they're supposed to do, and they get into some trouble and stuff like that. And then you as the leader, you got to kind of, you know, rectify it, realign it, kind of be like, hey, listen, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it keeps you on your toes, bro. You got to keep making sure everyone's okay, making sure that, you know, there's nothing
sometimes you have to be like on. Sometimes you got to be like so stern and like God on these kids, bro, especially in the nighttime. You know how some of the gents can get, bro. And then you think to yourself, like, oh, am I going to lose my street cred with these kids?
Nah, but it doesn't matter. But you have to be stern.
I have to be stern. But it was good, bro. It was such an exciting experience.
Definitely. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you jumped onto the show this morning because you saw the flyer, you saw the poster. We've been hyping this up since last Thursday. Yeah. And we've been holding it down for you real quick. But now, ladies and gentlemen, please, without any further ado. Bro, what is that word actually, bro? Is it ado or due, or what the heck is that? When you know, when people say without any further, what is that? What word is that really? Do you know?
Nah, bro, just say further ado.
Further ado. It actually is further ado.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help us welcome our guest this morning, none other than Bahumi Mhlongo.
Well done.
Come on.
Nice.
I got it right. I've been working on getting this right for a minute.
Very proud of you.
Am I right? Am I saying it right?
Very
She's like, yeah, say this part like this. Okay, am I saying it right now? Okay, say this part right now. Thank you so much
for coming. Can I tell me
coming.
your second name?
No, don't. You see now.
Oh, do you know it?
Now,
I do.
Look, bro.
I do.
Bro, so what happened is
I'm going to use it against them.
No, but you can't use it against them. So listen, we were working together, right, on a project. And so this project required us to work together for a long time and for us to be in each other's faces all the time, which is okay because she's an okay person, you know, she's not too bad.
Oh, I'm not too bad.
Nah, she's high.
No, just above okay, bro.
She's a little bit, you know, above average. No. So we were working together, and of course the energy was dope, the chemistry was nice and clear, and so I was like, all right, okay, since we got that nice vibe going, I'll be a little bit vulnerable.
And you told me a second name.
I actually didn't tell her. I showed her.
Tell anyone.
Bad idea.
No, I showed it to her on one of my degree. it has it in the middle.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't miss it. So yeah, I showed her that.
Can I go live?
Huh?
Can I go live on Instagram?
Yeah, go for it.
Go
of
for
course.
Pull it.
Let me help you out there.
Pull it back.
You guys have like, I don't know, complicated.
That's like a plug thing.
Huh?
That's like a plug.
Oh, it's a bougie plug.
Yeah.
Okay, bougie
You know,
people.
you know.
Oh,
We
no.
got that
I actually
energy.
wanted to use it to mount my
Oh, there,
camera,
there.
my phone.
Lee's bringing a mount for you. Do you want to use that one?
Well,
Yeah, that's dope. And then at least
Yeah,
we
that's
can.
super.
Yeah.
we need that.
Okay, put it there
it on
then.
the-
And then
yeah.
we can see everything.
Oh wait, should I press the live thing now?
Yeah.
Let's do that now.
Of course.
Thank you.
How you
And
doing
then-
though?
I'm
Are you
good. How
well?
are you?
Nah,
Good.
lovely.
It's nice to see you. It's been a minute.
I
And you've been
know.
all over the place. You've been busy with things that you can't tell
Yeah.
everyone what you're doing, but it's fine. You can tell us as
Well-
much as you can.
Loki, please just do me a favor. Please just put the name of the show on the comments and pin it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm a content creator. I'm allowed to do this, right?
Of
Now
course.
go for it.
Of course.
Now we're all content creators. We
Yeah,
understand
of
the world of content creation.
Yeah.
But listen, you've
No
been
props.
all over the place. But before we get into where you are now and what you're doing
Mm-hmm.
now, because I know you're busy with some crazy stuff right
Yes.
now, and some big stuff. In time, where everyone will see, everyone will be like, "Oh, that's that's dope." And
Yeah.
so, but before we get there, Jay and I were speaking about how do we come up with the title for the show, and we're bouncing it around. And we called you the one day, and we're like, "Hey, we're trying to think about
What
how
to
to
do.
angle this thing because you're so
Yeah.
multifaceted, you're all over the place." And we're like, "Okay, so what do we do? How do we kind of narrow it?" And we just said, "Okay, who is Bahumi?" 'Cause that's just gonna encompass everything and bring it all home. But for
Yeah.
real, who like
Who
take
is
us from the
Bahumi?
beginning? Yeah.
No, I love that. I actually do love that because I mean, like, look, I'm like one of the few people in the industry who did not start off from like, well, I have my own beginning, of course, everyone has their own beginning, but like I didn't really start off from the beginning, if you could put it that way.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I have people who've trailblazed for me
Yeah.
in my family, so I kind of started from a middle. So it's very important for me to establish who I am, and for people to kind of know me for who I am. And so I think that's the perfect title. Who exactly is Bahumi Mhlongo outside of the family that she comes from, outside of who her parents are, etc. So I guess with that background, I grew up in a family that's just fully immersed in the entertainment industry, both in background, both behind the scenes and in front of it. So my grandparents were in the entertainment industry. My grandmother is the late Mary Mhlongo, and my grandfather is Ndaba Mhlongo. And then they had my father, who is none other than my favorite father in the world.
Now, I think everyone knows who your father is,
Yes.
but tell us.
So and then we have my father, who is Somizi Mhlongo, and my mother, who is Balisa Madisakwane. And then they had me, who's now Bahumi Mhlongo, who is also in the entertainment industry. And so I'm an actress by profession. I'm an awesome person all around. That's like the best way to describe me. And then career-wise, so I'm an actress. I am a film director and writer. Well, that's what I studied. That's what I majored in. I'm also a motivational speaker. It's not a term that I really like to use because I just speak, and if it motivates people, then that's what we're doing. And yeah, so I'm a speaker, and I'm also newly a podcaster. So yeah.
That's
also,
dope.
this is actually, besides my own, this is the very first podcast I've ever been on. So
Hey,
Come on.
kudos to that.
Come on.
Yeah,
Y'all
we made it
just
happen.
break
We
that
made it happen. So the
Yeah.
second we met, right? We met like in a weird, like it was like a weird moment for me. I was busy doing something upstairs, and I was having a crappy day, and then I was being called like, "Hey, look, we got to get ready for that production we were doing that we were working on. The people downstairs, come meet the people." Blah blah blah. I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool, I'm coming." So I'm coming down, and I'm like in a weird space because I'm like, "Oh, I'm having a crap day." But anyway, let's go. So
Yeah.
then we catch up, we meet. I met you, and I met two other people that were with you. And we're chatting, we're talking, whatever. And then surprisingly, you were already at church the one time. But I'm a pastor by profession, and I was preaching. We were doing these big youth events, which like the one we did
Yeah.
this past weekend. So there's a bunch of youth and young people, and of course I connect with other pastors, from different churches, and I connected with Rema North, with Pastor Wayne, and all those people. And then you were like, "Hey, I was here for one of the events that you guys were hosting." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, cool, that's interesting." And you're
Yeah.
like, "You remember the sermon?" I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Wait, how did you remember
yeah.
that?"
I did. It was a very impactful sermon for me. So I first knew of the church with that event that
The youth event,
the youth event that you guys hosted. So my, as you say, my church came through, and I think what pulled me was your sermon. Like, it was just so, like, it was so mind blowing.
You remember it, and that was
Captivating,
2013.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2013 ago.
Yes, the years.
Also, I mean, like,
Yes,
look at
bro.
him. It was very cute. Like, it was very hard to, like, forget this cute face.
Cool,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
cool.
Now, come on.
But that.
Facts.
So, and then you're like, I remember that sermon, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as time went, we had to.
And of course, he's a G'd out pastor, though. So
Oh, no, he
of
is.
course.
Oh, no,
It's
he
like
is.
it goes
Guys, listen,
against.
did you see the
Goes
title?
against the norm.
Listen, did you see the
of
title on the show?
suit
It's all
and
about that. So yeah. And
Now,
so,
while we at it,
and so that's how we connected, and then I was like, okay, cool, let's do something. And you're
Yeah.
like, then we're walking around here, showing you the different spots and everything, and then you saw this, you were like, okay, cool, that's dope.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a show, you must let me know. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, let's do it.
And now
then we had something, and then obviously you were busy, you were all over the place, you're busy filming, you're doing stuff, you're like, okay, can't do this week, I can't do that week, and then finally we're like, okay, can you do this week? Yes.
yeah.
Let's lock it down before we miss you again.
And
so
it's
thank you
locked.
for coming through, man.
Thank you
It's
guys for
really-
having me. I'm so excited to be here. Dead ass.
really
It
a
is.
dope time that we're having.
Nah,
And so the next question I want, so obviously you come from a rich, we can say, pedigree of
Big words. What does
Yeah.
pedigree mean?
That's
I
that
know
thing
that
that
it's
the-
like a
the
lineage.
dog
I know it's
eat.
like a dog. I was about to say
food.
that. I know the
Dog
dog
food.
food.
No, not dog.
And it's
That's what I
And it's
know.
Triple H. You know, Triple H the recipe. His finishing move as well. There's a lot
Pedigree.
of the pedigree.
Nah, so I think
know
what
that.
what pedigree actually means is like a lineage, like
Nah,
a
facts,
line,
bro.
like a
Yeah.
like a bloodline
Yeah.
of like
Ooh,
quality.
pedigree.
Quality.
Bloodline.
Love it.
That's why when they call something like
Yeah.
A grade. It's like
Nah,
now, okay,
facts.
that means the grandparents, the parents, and even
Yeah.
the kids. It's like all like quality.
Yeah.
And so you come from a quality line of actors, actresses, singers, all the entertainment industry. And so sometimes people say that just because you come from that space doesn't mean you're going to end up in that space. What made you decide, okay, is it the influence from your dad, the influence from your grandmother, like, hey, maybe this space is not so bad. Let me give it a shot.
Look, I don't know. Maybe they influenced me indirectly. But for me, it's just always something I've always wanted to do, be in.
From an early age.
Literally from I mean, the earliest I can think of was probably like when I was 8, but I'm pretty sure it was even before then, But yeah, I mean, since I was 8 years old, I've always wanted to be in the drama club at school, and I sucked, but I still pushed. and they were like, "You're gonna be a train." I was like, "I'm in. I will be that train," and
Yeah.
I choo-chooed my way
will
into
choo-choo
where
the
I
heck
am
out
now.
of this train.
I choo-chooed my way into the industry, essentially. But yeah, for me, it's just, I don't know, it's always been like a great passion for me, man. And I know that sounds corny, but it really is true. And maybe it's just something that's just in me or in us. I really do believe that God gives us generational blessings. And we all have like a family prophecy, if I can put it that way. And
Yeah.
personally, I feel like this is ours. I honestly, and without sounding obnoxious, but I guess it's just confidence, right? Like
Yeah.
I honestly feel like my family's here to dominate the entertainment industry. God knows how, but we just are. We have a and what's it, like a nick for this thing, you know what I mean? And I feel like I'm not outside of that. But I think my responsibility is to to see not just to see how I can do things differently, but to use it in an impactful way as well, to like better, I guess, the masses. And I feel like I'm doing that with the influence that I have as well. So yes, I'm an entertainer. Yes, I'm an actress. Yes, I'm a director. But I also use my platform to, since I'm reaching out to a lot of people, I want to see how we can grow people, improve people's lives, etc. And I think that my father's doing that as well. So maybe that's why we're so blessed to be in this industry.
Yeah, because there's a purpose actually. So I want you to jump into the comment section. I want to ask you a shady question after this.
and we're in.
Come on, yeah, so obviously we got your one and only, bro.
Yeah, my
Anka
wife Anka, she's up in the
in the
comments.
building is. And then we have Mo Cabello speaking about the show that we're gonna have later on tonight as well,
Yeah,
bro.
we got a
He's
double
mentioned
barrel show today. We got one tonight.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Thank you.
And then, bro, what else?
Nah, I think Anka's just
Anka was
speaking
saying
about-
what pedigree
yeah,
is, right?
Yeah.
Recorded ancestry. or lineage of the person. Okay, so I was
Yeah.
right. I was right.
Do you feel any pressure though? Trying to obviously hold up the family name, or is everything just kind of flowing? Of course, there's a lot of ups and downs, and you get to that moment where you think about it, like, hey,
I want wait, bro. Before I want you to answer Jay's question, right? Because it's an interesting and a valid question.
Do you need some assistance there?
Let me do. Okay, maybe answer Jay's question first before I ask you the shady
That was
question.
actually good there. Never mind. We moved
Yeah,
it.
use that. I think that thing's better. Now, you know what? If you put the phone in there, it actually balances.
Oh, there we go.
itself.
Should be.
Dope. Nice one. Alright, okay. So maybe go for Jay's question first.
Yeah.
Jay, don't you just want to repeat the
Yeah.
question?
Do you feel any pressure though to obviously keep the family name up? Obviously, there is a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows that you go through, but and the prophecy that you spoke about now.
Yeah.
Is there that tad bit of pressure?
Not anymore. I used to feel like, you know, I'm pressured to break ground and to do something different, etc. But I don't do that with I don't entertain or do what I do with that purpose in mind anymore. I think that's just going to organically happen. Now I'm just living my life, honestly, and just doing what I love to the best of my ability. Well, I feel like I can even do more and better, and then I feel like just in so doing that will happen. You
So
know,
you're
but
not overthinking it anymore.
No,
like
yeah,
that.
that's the perfect way to put it. I'm not overthinking it. Overthinking it is just, it would be stressful. You know what I mean? And stress creates wrinkles. And
But do you think? Nah, you ain't about that. But do you think there was kind of that type of pressure in the beginning of like, ish, now my father was, you know, this A-lister, and my grandmother was this person, and now I gotta keep up the family name.
No, not from me. I think it was imposed by people, and I think that's why I felt it in the beginning, right? Because I mean, like I said, I was just chilling, living my life, and whatever happens, you know. Going from audition to audition, getting some, not getting some, and then when I wasn't getting some, and then people were putting this pressure on me of, okay, so but what does she do? Who is she? Is she going to be better than her parents? Is she in this because of her parents? Did she get what she got because of her parents? Then I felt that pressure. I was like, oh, okay, then I guess I have to prove to people that I am worthy of A, B, C, D, or of being here or whatever. And then just finding my grounds and my purpose in God became enough for me. And so for me, it was just a matter of, you know, just pleasing him. And he doesn't put this pressure on me to please my parents. He's just like, I'm pleased by you already. So that's when I was like,
Exactly.
then let's move.
I'm already
Then
accepted.
Let's move.
So
you know what I mean?
I think that leads into my question I want to ask you. Did you ever catch like shade from the industry because of who your father is, or because of who your family line is? As far as when I say shade, I mean this aspect of, oh, she's just getting this because she is Somizi's daughter. Oh, she just got that role because she's there. Do you ever get that energy from some people in the industry, or have you not really experienced any of that?
It's funny. It's always the ones outside of the industry, hey, that give me that shade, so to speak. The Twitter streets. So,
especially Black Twitter.
black Twitter. So I mean, look, it's been a mixture of both. There've been a lot of people who have been rooting for me on Twitter. A lot of fans that have been rooting for me, and I genuinely appreciate them, gang. But you know, on the inverse, I also got a lot of, like you say, shade of people saying, oh, I got where I got to, what I have because of my parents. And I think it would be ignorant of me to not, like
acknowledge
I said, to not acknowledge
influence,
that,
or, yeah.
you know, like I said, I essentially started from a good middle. You know what I mean? In the beginning, I remember this was like 14 ago, when people first started to know me as my father's daughter. I just got like an influx of, you know, of followers.
Because people didn't know in the beginning, right?
No, they didn't. They really didn't. And then
Look, I didn't know either.
Yeah,
especially especially the nature of who your father is and what kind of he represents on a big billboard.
Yeah.
People were like, "Hey, wait, hold on."
Yeah, they're like, how?
Exactly.
How? Exactly.
And that was my first,
And I
because
was
somebody
like,
told me, somebody that knows you told me, and
Wow.
also I know someone in our church is actually family, I think, with your mother.
Yeah.
And so she was telling me, I was like, hold on, wait, he has a kid. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know. But
Yeah.
that was a while ago. But
Yeah,
still.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, continue.
So, I did get that a lot. You know, people thinking that I got things from, I got to where I am because of my parents. And I think that in some respect, this, I don't know how to put this, but two things correlate, right? There's the I guess the foundation that they've set for me, which is what got me to where I am because of that foundation. But they never had any other direct influence in my, oh, my alarm. Let's see what it says.
I hope you're not waking up.
What does it say?
No, I have like these reminders. It says, what would you do? I have to read it. What would you do if you knew God was backing you and forwarding you so you couldn't lose?
All right, so that became part of the interview now as well.
Okay, then we'll answer it later.
Well, it's right there. So, but I wanted to go into that direction anyway because you bring a different element to the world of entertainment because you saved, and we had that conversation in depth. You know, the one day we were working, and we had to work for a long time. And then I said, hold on, I want to ask you some stuff. And you were like, yeah, you can ask me whatever you need to ask me.
Yeah.
And then I asked you about the fact that you are Christian and that you're saved and that you're in this industry. And I know the industry can get a little bit rough. But then, well, we're still busy answering questions.
Yeah, I actually want to ask something. Before we go there, you know, I love the journey, bro. I love the journey. You were speaking about obviously at school you were in the drama team and so forth on. What happened from there? Like, take us through, even if you don't go really in depth, but just take us through high school. What happened there? Then what position did you get? You know, probably your mom or your dad that opened the door here in maybe in this series or in year to get you to where you are now?
Then I'm going to start at the end of that question. So my parents never actually got me any jobs directly, which is why I said initially that they set the foundation for me, but they never got me any direct jobs. And I know that may be hard for some people to believe, but I mean, I can't make you believe it, right? So in terms of how I grew up briefly, in primary school, I was in the drama team. I really wasn't that amazing at it, and then I joined public speaking, and that I killed. I won't even lie. And then,
if I have to say so myself,
if I say so myself, look, I really am in a self-gov space.
Nah,
hey,
go for
so
it.
here we are, and so I killed public speaking, and then debating as well. And then in high school was when I revisited the drama thing because like I said, that was like my number one passion. And I think and at that point I was a little more free with expressing myself and really learning and growing. And so I actually did really good there in high school. And I you know, it was drama, it was theater, so it wasn't like anything television.
What
but
school,
I got like
which high school were you in?
Rand Park High.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I did drama there. I think that's really where I grew. I actually first, before I went to Rand Park High, I went to Pro Arte, which is an art school in Pretoria, and I did drama there. And I think that's where the drama was actually like harnessed and just kind of refined. And I majored in that, and there I did exceptionally well. And so then when I moved to Rand Park, and which wasn't an art school, but by the time I got into the drama department, I was very well versed with the craft. And then after that, I wanted to go to film school. And my parents never let me go to film school. Well, they didn't want me to go to film school. I'm going to try to beef this up. it's a very long story. But
Cool.
are we cool? You have time?
Cool.
All right, cool. So my parents didn't want me to go to film school because they understood just how difficult this industry is. And it's hard to really make it. And even if you do make it, you're not even, like there isn't like a surefire, I guess, guarantee that you would even like be financially strong, if I can put it that way. And so like that was their biggest worry. I mean, like they were like just a few of the exceptions in the industry that are actually doing pretty well, So they didn't want me to be in the industry, and I really tried to fight, and they said no. So I decided to apply to the New York Film Academy myself, and I also applied to law school because they wanted me to apply to law school, but I made sure that I didn't go to any of the tests that I had to take, and they didn't know that I had to take tests like the MBT and things like that. And so by the time my results came out, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're so excited for you. Now we know that you're going to UJ." And I was like, "About that, I know I got accepted, but like I didn't write the test. But I am going to the New York Film Academy, and that's what you guys are going to pay for." And then
Did you say New York Film Academy?
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
it.
actually in New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's not you, Jay.
No. No.
Okay, that's far from you, Jay, at this point.
I was very ambitious as a child, and
That
I
is
don't
not
know
you,
where
Jay.
I thought the school fees were going to come from. But I was like, listen, if I can't get into the school anymore, like they can't force me, but they want me to go to
Your
school.
parents are busy filling in race forms
Exactly.
and things. Meantime,
It was
you're
bad.
like,
It was
hey,
a
bro, you
very-
gotta fill in a whole
Do not
different
do
race
this.
form.
I don't condone this behavior, but I did it in any case. And so I then they don't believe in gap years, and so and that's why I went that route. I was like, well, then they'll be forced to take me to the New York Film Academy. And so then when they found out, they were extremely upset. Well, this is my mother and my stepdad in particular, who's in black. We don't say stepdad as black people. We're just like, oh, it's also my father, you know. And then, but my father was more like, okay, just let the child do whatever she wants to do. And
He seems more liberal, though.
yeah, he definitely was a lot more liberal. And then, so then he was like, it's fine, he'll pay for the school fees. And then eventually we realized that the fees was actually going to be a lot more than we thought it was going to be, because then it wasn't just the fees, it was the housing, it was a lot to move that side. So my father was just like, look, I can, but I promise you it will be a burden on me. And I was just like, okay, then let's not do that. So I then took a subsequent gap year, and within that gap year,
So you ended up not
You're
going.
not going to.
no, so I didn't go to the New York Film Academy. Wah, wah. And I was so excited because I even got like a scholarship, but even the scholarship wasn't enough because it was like 12,000 US at the time, $12,000 per semester, and there were 8 semesters. And yeah, it was a lot. So, anyways, I took a gap year, and I think that's where I grew my social media following, because within that gap year, I was just out here just posting, taking pictures, doing videos, etc. And you know, people were just like falling in love with like my fashion, my makeup at the time. And then when I got into law school, because I didn't have any other time to do like any other hobbies, because I was so busy with law. And I generally felt like I didn't have like a space to really grow my craft still. So I was just fully focused on law. Until this one time, I went to a friend of mine's, a friend of mine lost their mother, and I went to their funeral. And to the funeral, and there was a casting director at that funeral, and we were all just bonding and chatting. So that friend of mine is also in the industry, and we were just chatting, and the casting director looks at me and she goes, "Oh my God, dude, you are so Zola." And I was like, "What?" It's like, no, like, so there's this character that we've been trying to look for, and like we don't have, like, we've been trying to cast and we haven't really been finding the thing. Do you mind coming in for an audition on Thursday, and we can see what we can do? And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'd love to." Then I went for the audition. And then immediately after the audition, my friend actually told me before I even got the role. But I was like, dude, they loved you. I can almost guarantee you're in. And I was already excited then.
Some
And,
inside info.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, don't tell them, but like, I know you're in. Like, they were talking about you the whole time. And then a couple of days later, I get a message that I got the role for my very first television telenovela, which was on SABC2, called Keeping Score, and I got the role of Zola, and that was the very first acting gig that I got. And so from that point onwards, it was like a trajectory of things, right?
That's
so,
weird, like from a funeral.
I know, right? It's crazy. Job at a funeral.
Life.
So that's essentially how I get most of my jobs. It was just like a
Contacting different people.
The second one that I got was actually through an actual audition. So like they posted that they were going to do an audition for casting for Lebo Mathosa, and it was open call auditions. And I remember I actually even tried the dad route. I won't even lie. So I was like, "Hey pops, I know you knew Lebo Mathosa. You know, you guys were best friends. They were the best of friends before she passed. And I don't know if you're involved in this." And he was like, "No, I'm not." And I was like, "Okay, then I guess I have to go for the open call audition."
I have to do it along.
And then I went that route, and then I got that role too. And then after that I got signed.
But did you know Lebo as well? Or were you still
yes.
were you still young? Or?
Yeah, I did, but I was very young, so I'm not super personal. It was more like a maternal relationship, because I was like, you know, like you're young, maybe like 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. But I mean, she was with your father. You'd obviously see her. You'd obviously.
Yeah. No, we had an actual relationship,
Okay.
but it wasn't like best friend. It was like a maternal relationship. You know, she was more like a second, third mother to me. You know what I mean? Maybe like a godmother. Yeah. She was bliss. She really was bliss. So even playing her was like, oh yeah.
But do you think that influenced that role though? The fact that you actually knew her personally, because now you kind of get a different. You have a different perspective of, as opposed to somebody that's just you know, an actress coming to play a role, you're like, hey, hold on, I'm an actress playing a role, but I also knew this person. So it gives a little bit more depth, or not?
Maybe it didn't give so much depth to the character, to be quite honest, only because so I was playing the younger version of her, and so I only knew the older version of her.
Okay, cool.
But it did add depth to the I guess just the pressure to play her as best as I possibly could, to
honor her
to honor
on that
her,
level.
to truly honor her. So for me, the pressure in terms of the character was more so finding out who she was at a young age, and really like, you know,
try and display to the best of
and speaking to the right people, and you know, just making sure, because at the end of the day, I'm playing a role that other people don't know of her, so I really had to like
dig deep.
I even remember my prayer at the time was, God, I pray that I show her the way that you knew her. And I think I did that because people love me.
Good. So which show was that?
Role.
Where was that show playing?
That was on BET. So that was BET's. That was Africa's first biopic, and that was in 2019. It's actually repeating now in March, in April. No, in May. It's going to repeat now again on
Cool.
BET.
So we can go check that out.
Yeah,
then.
so you can definitely go check it out.
So now, do you have some questions on your live there?
No, I'm just seeing stuff this way. So
You just see-
scroll. Okay,
Oh,
but you can go.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So now the next, Jay, I don't know, do you want to jump in with something there?
Yeah, I think we basically on the faith role, and you were speaking a bit now about God and so forth on. I think that's definitely inspiring, because I don't know, not many people in the industry, you know, have that side to them, the faith side, or maybe they do, but because of work and so forth on, you kind of have to
Dumb it
down a little bit. But it seemed as though you're someone that really is bold about your faith and who you believe. When was that first encounter you had with God through the midst of everything, and what was that like?
I wish I could answer that question. I remember even saying I wish I had like a testimony like everybody else did, like you know, that, oh, this is where I found God. I really, if I'm being honest, I don't think I can like pinpoint a time. Yeah, like a specific time. So growing up, I don't have like my family was, I guess, Christian, and also, you know, had like other, you know, ancestral traditional beliefs as well, so they kind of merged the two. And so for me, it was just maybe we could say in preschool or whatever, where they taught us that we should pray. They taught us the Lord's Prayer, and they taught us
our Father.
Yeah, like our Father. And then they would pray at school, and they taught us to pray like every night. And I was that diligent child who listened at school, so I prayed it every night. And I remember sleeping. So I used to live with my grandmother and my aunt when I was a kid, from my father's side. We actually all lived together. My father, my grandmother, and his siblings. And so I would force them to like pray the Lord's Prayer every single night, and then you know, from that point onwards, I remember we never went to church a lot, but I had like a neighbor in the neighborhood in Soweto, in Mapetla, and she would go to church on Sundays, and then I would just go with her, but I would only go with her because my gran used to at least give me like offering money, and then I would spend the offering money on ices, and ice lollies.
But all of us.
Yeah.
I bought ice lollies.
Yeah, like I'd give some just so I don't feel guilty. I'd like give like 1 rand, you know, and then like the rest if I ice lollies. And then eventually, you know, when I started living with my mother, she started, you know, going to church a lot more often, and then I used to go to Sunday school, and I think that's where my relationship with God grew more. But if I'm being honest, I think I always feel like I was constantly covered, because I feel like, in a sense, I was always the one, at least in my family, who was just, I don't know, who was just so much more pulled to the idea of God. You know, I mean, even as a kid, I used to think, I used to take things so literally. When I heard that, like, God holds us in the palm of my hands, I used to be so imaginative, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, he's been literally there. And I'd be like, I wonder, like, where like, am I on his pinky right now? You know, when they say God sees everything, I was like, oh, he's God. So then he must have like, these gigantic eyes. So that's what in my mind, I was just that imaginative. And then my relationship just grew, you know, as as I grew older, you know, just learning more, having better understanding. Yeah, and then I think in my, let's say, primary school was when I was like, okay, I think I'm a lot more called to not just know the gospel for myself, but to spread it. And I think I started doing that even in high school. I mean, in primary school. You know, when I got baptized, it became a lot more serious for me. I got baptized in primary school as well. Beautiful. And yeah, and then I was just spreading the gospel from that point onwards, and it just grew from there.
So you take this
I just think that I'm a living testimony.
Yeah, you take the work quite seriously.
Yeah.
There was a, what's that? The latest? Well, I don't know if it was the latest show that you were on, the one where you were on a couple of episodes with your actual father, right? Mm-hmm. What was that show called?
Living the dream, it's so easy.
Yeah, living the dream, right?
Yes.
And then of course there was one moment there, and I asked you if we can go there. You said we can go wherever you want us to go. There was one moment that people went completely bonkers over, and it went viral, and people were saying all sorts of stuff, and it was really all over the place. And there was this contention between what you believe your walk with Christ is, and how you don't necessarily agree with mixing it in with the traditional kind of stuff. Could you take us through that moment? Because that moment went viral. People went crazy. Living the dream, I know. Because the first time when I spoke to, I just forgot his name now for a second because my mind's all over the place.
Natty.
Yeah, Natty. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Natty,
No,
bro.
okay.
I hope you're not judging me when you're watching it. So I was speaking.
Bro.
So Natty and I was speaking, and he was like, "Yo, bro, you gotta go watch these episodes of Living the Dream. These are the episodes that everyone went crazy about." Maybe take us through that episode specifically, and then I told you I didn't have Showmax, and you showed me we were together one day. You actually showed me the whole entire episode.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? And obviously you're very respectful, so you didn't want to step on toes, but you had to kind of stand your ground as far as your belief system goes.
Yeah.
Maybe take us through that journey, emotionally, mentally. Now I know you've worked through it before. Are you not scared of it?
No, not at all. At least not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that one, it's so funny. That really is just something that just happened, you know. I remember I was like on the fence about coming back onto the show. You know, purely because of, I guess I was
onto Living the Dream.
Yes, onto Living the Dream. So I was there season 1 and season 2. And we just shot, the latest one was season 5, and that's the one that I jumped back onto. And I really was even pondering with God. I was like, God, why? Like, I don't know. Not that I don't want to, but like I want to see where this is going to take us, or, you know, me in the industry. Like, what does this mean for me, etc. But, you know, for some reason, I after praying about it, at least I felt a lot more comfortable to come back onto the show, and a part of me feels like that in part was necessary, that conversation, and I think that maybe that's why, you know, not fully, but like maybe that's part of the reason why I had to jump back.
So
onto
God
the
knew
show.
that was going to happen, and He kind of guided you in that
Yeah,
direction.
because I genuinely did not think that was the conversation we're going to have on that show. I honestly thought it was going to be so beautiful. We're going on trips. I mean, something like, you know, a fabulous time, reality show. Ooh. But it got serious real quick.
Real quick,
man.
Serious to 100 real quick.
Yeah. So on the show, a ceremony that my family has always wanted to have for me came up again, right? So this is called Umemulo, which is essentially a coming of age for a woman. I think it usually happens when the woman is 21. I could be wrong. And it's a traditional ceremony where you know, you essentially, I think, you involve the ancestors, and you essentially, I think, ask the ancestors to like just protect and guide the woman into this new chapter of her life. And so, I mean, I turned 21 ages ago. I'm 28 now. But they never had that ceremony, and so I think culturally it seems like it's still okay to have that ceremony. And then, so not just that came up, but also the fact that I wanted to change my surname. And that was like the bigger one, right? So I currently on my ID have my mother's maiden surname, which is Madisakwane. And culturally, you're supposed to
change over to your father.
Yeah, change it to your father's. But if you and if you do change it to your father's, then you have to do the ceremony as well, where you introduce. Now they have to introduce me as Mhlongo to my ancestors. I can't just, you know.
Can't
change
just
it.
change it at Home Affairs.
Yeah, I can't just change it at Home Affairs. And so I wanted to change my surname at Home Affairs, but my parents weren't going to let that fly. And so that's where essentially the
contention
came through, because I then did not want to do it culturally. And that's because I don't believe in engaging with my ancestors. And so, yeah, the conversation, I remember when it was brought up by my cousin, I think, on the show, I was like, I'll be having this now, and there's cameras here, and there's a camera here. And I'm like, So
and the
how do I
producers
say
are
this?
like, let's go.
You know?
They are like licking their lips for this
I was like,
conversation.
oh my God, how do I say this with my chest? The pressure it's on, because I knew that if I say yeah sure just for the cameras, I would feel I think just this
You're not
heavy weight
genuine
of
to
guilt.
yourself.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I mean, it is a reality show, and it's what I asked for. I remember that's what I said when I came there. I was like, fine, if we're going to do this, we're doing this full throttle real. I didn't think that I was going to be the one who had to be that real.
You asked for it,
bro, I was
and
like,
now
God,
it's not
really?
scripted. Now it's like, okay, so you wanted this? Boom.
Okay, fine.
Go for it.
God, okay. And so then I was like, I don't think we can do that. And my cousin was like, why? You've always wanted this. What do you mean? You know, we always talk about this. And I was like, yeah, so now you just
I didn't think it was going to be in front of everyone like this now.
You just added a different clause, because now you're telling me that I have to do this, and you know I don't believe in this. And so now, you know, and then she was like, oh, hectic. And she even didn't know what to say, because she was just looking at the cameras like this. And she was like, oh, okay, you're going to have to tell your father that. You know that, right? And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll tell him if it comes up. I'm not going to bring it up, you know.
And you're
then,
kind of trying to avoid the conversation at this point. Not because you don't want to have it, but because it's like you don't want to be disrespectful. You don't want to step on toes. You
I don't
don't
wanna be
want to
disrespectful.
overimpose yourself.
I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to step on toes. But the last thing I want to do is seem disrespectful or seem like I'm stepping on toes on camera. Like, I think for me, this was like a conversation I would have ideally loved to have with my parents first before we bring it to, you know, to the world.
And now it just so happens that it's like,
it's there.
We're
you know
here
what I
now.
mean? Yeah, because had I just said no, my cousin would have been like, why? You know, and then the producers would have been like, why? And then, so it's like, well, I have to really pretend like there's no cameras here and I'm just having like a genuine conversation. Because people think that, you know, reality, you just come and then you just like, you know, you fall south. And well, at least you if you're someone with a conscience, you have to be. But at the same time, it's like if I put a camera here in front of you and I'm like, be yourself. It's like.
But true that how much does it take out of you though? Like you're saying now, because it's, you know, the East cameras here. You have to kind of count your words and be careful with.
But the thing is, the nature of the conversation.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
That
bro.
conversation, there's like a bunch of weight to it, because my parents feel a certain way. She doesn't agree with it, and now we must have this conversation in front of the world.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. How much like pressure and just weight does it take?
There was gang pressure. I won't lie. It took courage. Like, that was one of those conversations that took courage. I thought that it was going to take courage to speak to my parents about it. It took courage to speak to the world about it, because now I was like, not only do I probably not have my parents' support in this, I know that I am in an African country
where this thing is like highly,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially now, it's a lot more
prevalent.
You know,
yeah,
exactly. And so now it's like the pressure. It's Wesa, you know, it's Wesa. But I won't lie to you. I really had to take my God-given courage and just.
You had to have that scripture where Paul says that do not be concerned about what you say when you get there.
Yeah.
For the Holy Spirit will guide you.
Exactly.
So it was like, God.
Exactly. And to be honest, fast forward to the conversation that I then had. Yeah. So fast forward to the conversation that I then actually had with my parents, especially with my father. It really was that, like, what's the scripture? What was the scripture said again?
The script, I don't know exactly where the scripture is, but it's
do
not be concerned about what to say when you
the Holy
get
Spirit
there.
will give you will guide you, right? And so for me, it really was that, right? Where when I was having the conversation with my parents, I really felt guided by the Holy Spirit, where it was like, okay, now speak. Don't say anything.
Let this go.
Let this go.
Say something.
Say something now. You know what I mean? And so if anything,
were you really feeling that sense of like,
yes,
go, stop,
yes, Bible, yes.
Go.
Yes, because in fact, some of the crew will even tell you, like, I was praying about it before. Because, I mean, one thing I love about the crew of Living the Dream, they really are there to support like every one of us, right? And to really tell the truth of the story. So they don't even, like, even if they take sides, let's say in their minds, they don't actually like really take sides, right? So
They didn't want it to just for the juice. Like,
yeah, no,
we're gonna throw it to the sharks now.
No,
we know.
And so like they knew everything that we're all going through, and so because this part was at least my narrative, like they were like, okay, take your time, do whatever you have to do, and they knew that I was praying about it. I was like, yo, God, because I don't just speak of my God. Like I truly live what I believe. You know what I mean? Like I for me, it's not just a, okay, I spread the gospel or whatever. It's like if you truly are convicted,
live it.
I live it. This is my life. So when I say I have a relationship with God, I take that in every part of my life, and if I believe what I truly believe, then I'm like, okay, God, right now, I am freaking out. You know what I mean? Like, now I need you. Now I need us to, like, move. Now you gotta pull through. Because I don't plan for this. And so now you just decided to drop this bomb on me. And so now it's like, okay, Now
I have to deal with it.
Yeah. And so that's actually how the conversation happened. I think people can, definitely go watch it on, I think it's probably like episode 6 or 7, but watch the whole season 5. It's really great. When I was having those conversations, it really was a don't speak now, blah blah. And I found myself playing the role of it was like I was a child of God while simultaneously being conscious of the fact that I am also my Father's child. So I think that's how the Holy Spirit helped in that conversation, because it's almost like I was, I don't know, I wasn't directing the conversation, I didn't feel like the Holy Spirit was directing it, but like it was almost like I was responding to how the conversation was being directed. So if my father said something, I would respond to that. I was the one who was like, so tell me, why don't you believe in da 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 da? You know what I mean? I was just responding. I think it probably would have even gone a little more differently had I, let's say, been having a conversation with, let's say, you and we had different beliefs. I probably would have been, just a lot more
brazen.
Yeah,
almost like more harsh.
Yeah, not harsh, so to speak, but like.
But more convinced, like more. I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right? But
this is what I believe. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But now you have to navigate
yes.
your father's emotions,
yes.
your mother's emotions,
yes.
and stay true to yourself.
And I think that's very important with a lot of people, children, but also Christians. Is that we really have to, like, not just be so focused on getting our points across, but ensuring that even in doing so, we're listening to the Holy Spirit's guidance.
Because it's a sensitive topic.
Yeah.
So you can't just jump in, bro. Are you getting this, or should we like clarify to the audience what the conversation was about? Do you think people were catching it? So just to clarify to the audience, so the conversation was about ancestors, and your father was obviously strong with, if you're gonna change your surname, if you're gonna do this, you have to go do the ritual, you have to go do the whole. I don't know if there's chicken blood involved, or you have to wash in river, or I can't remember what the whole thing is, but there's a whole procedure that needs to happen there. And the Holy Spirit inside of you was not agreeing with all of this, and you were like, look, I respect you because you're my father, I respect you because you're my mother, but there's just something inside of me that's not agreeing with all of this. Please, can you also respect my viewpoint? And so that contention was there, like, hey, you have to do this, and you're like, yeah, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be disrespectful, but I also don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So that element, to some people who are not in that space, especially like my culture is not necessarily in that space, so we might not understand the gravity of that. But if you're in that traditional cultural space where you understand how important all those rituals and stuff are to the people, to the people who do this, and how they believe in all these things, you know that it's a serious conversation. It's not just like, just tell your father you don't want to do it. No, that's not how that conversation goes. It's like there's more nuance to the conversation.
Yeah.
And so that's what made that moment so heavy.
Yeah.
Did you eventually come to a conclusion though?
Yes, we did, and it's one that I was, I guess, satisfied with, at least at the time.
What was the conclusion? Maybe take us to the end of that conversation of like, okay, guys, this is what we ended up agreeing on.
So I mean, after the I guess the back and forth of, you know, what we believe, what we don't believe, where we think we should compromise, what compromise actually is, etc. The conclusion that we essentially came to was, so my father, well, he said that he is then not comfortable with me changing my surname unless I do the ceremony. And I then was like, okay, then I guess I'm not going to change my surname, but I will, I guess, exist as though I have the surname on my on
That's
the
why
birth
you still go
certificate.
with the surname
Yeah,
now?
yeah, that's why I still go with Bahumi Mhlongo, because to be honest, one thing that we both agree on, and maybe found it on two different things. But one thing that we both agree with is that, look, your surname isn't, you know, just given to you because it's what's written in Home Affairs or whatever. You know what I mean? It's who you are. It's what you carry. The only difference is that, so he believes that it is given to you by your ancestors, right?
And
For
you
me,
coming more from a family kind of line.
yeah, family line, but you know, for me, I believe that every type of grace comes from God, and you are called who you are called because God ordained for you to be called that. And so I wanted to be called fully by who I am. Period. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, it doesn't matter if it's changed in Home Affairs or not. I just wanted that to just be like, you know, just like.
Did you
that.
end up changing it on my face?
No, I didn't, and I know I still can. To be honest, for all we know, I still might. But I think for the time being, it was more so about showing my parents that I do honor them, and even though we don't believe in the same things, I will honor them as far as this. If there ever comes a time where I feel like, okay, I think it's time for me to change my surname now, obviously unless I get married.
There's an article online that says you changed it.
I know, I've seen that. I've seen that. People are just funny.
They just want to
I
stir
really,
up
you
something
know,
even more.
I honestly wish that we had like, that the real journalists would rise up. To be honest,
But
you know?
I think that's the beauty of a conversation like this, where podcasts can come out and just say the real story. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
now you have that time. It's not, and this is, we had a conversation last week about the whole issue with what happened with Mike Todd and the Easter service and da. And one of my big issues was, stop taking a 20-second thing on TikTok and then making a whole big story. Hey, listen,
Exactly.
go and find out what the real story
Yeah.
is. Go and see.
Context,
And
yeah.
a lot of pastors are getting this wrong as well. They take a small piece from the Bible and then they make a whole story about it. But then you're like, no, but that's not what that said, bro. You have to go and see what the context. That's how I always say context matters. Go see what the whole thing is. And what podcasts like this allows us to do is to actually, for you to take a whole hour and explain, no, this is
Yeah.
what really happened.
Yeah.
Not clickbait, a little piece and then run with it. But then still someone will take a 1 hour podcast like this and still take that piece and say, look, she's disrespectful.
Do you know what I
It's
mean?
like, but guys, did you not?
Do you not see the whole thing? You know what I mean? And I think, we also have to get to a point where we not redefine certain words because the definitions are already there, but to really embody the true definitions, right? If somebody's going to call me disrespectful, exactly what does that mean? Because I think I feel like we live in a society where we just use words so loosely, and we just, you know,
Just
slap-
lingo at this point.
yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like, so for example, in my context, then is disrespect disagreeing with your parents, or is, do you know what I mean?
Disagreeing is not disrespect.
Exactly. We really have to then reconsider what
Like, in respectfully disagree.
you really can. You really can. You can
I'm
respectfully
not being
disagree.
disrespectful, I'm not being rude, but I'm not agreeing
You'd be
necessarily.
like, my phone, I don't even Google the word disrespect. But like I said, it's like just because you disagree with someone, it doesn't mean that you disrespect someone, right? I think when you disrespect someone is when you probably start to use harsh words, or your tone is harsh towards
Yeah.
the person.
There's
or-
obviously a way to.
yeah, the
say
approach,
certain
or you
things,
start
yeah.
to, you know, consider someone, what's the word? Like when you start to belittle someone, and when you start to belittle someone's idea, when you start to belittle somebody, period. And just because I disagree with you, it doesn't mean that I disrespect you. And I think that's probably the reason why we can't have, or many people don't have conversations like this, is because we are afraid of possibly disrespecting people just by the assumption that by disagreeing we're being disrespectful. But you can honestly, we can have these kinds of conversations and really disagree with people and it not be seen as disrespect. lack of respect or courtesy. Thanks, dictionary. That was so
Wow, that explains
really?
a lot.
Wow. Okay, wait, let's Google respect.
No, because
Yeah.
because you said you wanted to Google it, but you live there, so I just gave you the phone quickly. But again, and I agree with you. We have to redefine. Not redefine. We have to stick to the original
To the
definition of what this
definitions.
thing means.
Yeah.
Because if we're saying bruh, disrespect doesn't mean disagree and disrespect not the same thing.
Yeah.
We have a couple of comments from Nathan Bahumi. Already love you. Excited to see what's coming next in the future. Then we have Janine saying, my girl Bahumi in the building. Then Clayton is on some dope show, dope guest, dope convo. I think let's probably go to that Nathan conversation. I know you can't say certain things, but he's excited to see what's coming up in the future. Can you kind of give us a little teaser?
Yeah, can you give us a teaser? How much can you say? Because I know there's some NDAs, and I know you're working with some black and red company. I'm not sure if you can speak about that. Just say, something and chill.
Yeah. That could be seen in many different ways, fam. That's something and chill.
Just chill. Just chill.
Anyway, yeah. How much can you speak about?
No, I actually can say that. So I've just worked on 2 Netflix productions, which I'm so excited
by
about.
the way.
Netflix.
By the way.
Oh,
What?
You still trying to...
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one is a movie. And then the other is a series, 6-part series.
You busy, must.
I'm so
This is why
excited
you're
for
not
them.
answering your phone.
Eish.
Sorry?
This is why you're not answering your phone.
Oh,
You're making movies and Netflixes and stuff. I'm throwing some shade in case you haven't noticed.
Nah, but it's a hell of a but it's
I
cool.
think you're lying. Just saying. So yeah, one is a series, one is
That's why you get back to us late. No, but it's understandable.
That's
You are literally busy with movie and series at the same time. So we gotta understand.
yeah, but
busy
I'm
woman.
very excited for them. So the one
But you are,
is a comedy.
you are one of the sweetest person though.
Oh, thanks, Jay, for being the only kind person here. Such a sweetheart. You know.
Nah, but definitely, look, you're busy. And you're literally doing a series and a movie.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for
Yeah,
you to be
but
busy.
we just wrapped those, so I'm a little more free now, which I kind of feel like is God telling me, okay, now work on the podcast. So that's what we're doing now. I've also been doing I've gone back onto my road shows, if I can call them that. So like these are like I like to go to schools and speak, and so I just went back last week with one of those, and so I'm very excited to endeavor in that now. Now I'm really excited to do all the things that I personally want to do, and then now I also want to do exactly what I studied for, which is the directing and the writing. So I think that's my focus. Well, I have a lot of focuses, but that's one of my main focuses for the year. But yeah, the two things that I did. So the one is a rom-com. Super excited about
What
it.
does rom-com mean?
Romantic comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then why are you sorry?
I'm getting too old now to understand these
Rom-com,
things.
bro.
No. So the one is a rom-com, and then the other one is
I was thinking about CD-ROM and stuff.
no.
True.
I don't think I know the
Rom-com,
second
bro.
one, but it's more of like a cops and robber kind of vibe.
Like an action movie.
Yeah, well, it is an action, but there's a specific
Are you
type.
in the action
like a kind
movie?
of, yeah,
Eh.
I am. But I wish I was doing the action-y part. I'm not.
Or you are like
I'm
one of
not.
the other scenes where there's not much action.
Yeah, no, I'm not in the fight scenes at all.
Oh, that would be dope though.
Oh, but it's gonna be so dope, guys.
It would be dope to
It's
see you
gonna
in a
be
fight
amazing.
scene though.
What parts are you playing though in these series and the movie?
Let's see, that I can't tell.
Is it just? It's not. Poma.
Come on, go background.
Yeah.
No
Poma.
offense, but no.
Nah, I'm tripping.
It's one of those where you see you walking there.
Yeah.
Pause. When you see that person walking there,
Take a
past
picture,
that side
picture.
there.
My girl
Like, you know-
out here. My girl out here.
Really?
It's not that.
No.
I know those ones
no.
there. Like, boss, I saw
No.
someone walking near the back. It looks like a kid. I know that cap.
No.
Yeah.
So the one is a lead. The second one is a support.
Ooh, come on.
Yeah,
That's
but a really
big.
good support.
That's
Yeah,
big,
oh yeah,
bros.
I'm
That's
very
big.
excited for the lead. For the I'm actually excited for both. Like they really, oh my god, they really both such amazing roles and characters. Like you guys will love them. And
Can you
it's
say
star-studded.
when those things are coming out? Like next year or still this
I
year?
honestly can't say when the first one is coming out. I mean, the first one was shot in. We started shooting that one in like September last year.
September, okay.
Yeah, so and that one has been like a very long one, you know.
That's the series.
Yeah, no,
The
that's
movie.
that's the
That's the
movie.
movie.
Yeah, and so now they just went into grade now, and so that one I'm not too sure when it's gonna come out. The one that I just shot now, I was told it might come out in November.
Okay, so it's still sometime this year.
Yeah. They both still this year. It's just a
A lot of work.
lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah,
work,
but
but I'm
this-
very excited for them. The first one, so my audition for the first one, I think, was probably one of my best auditions ever. So when you go to an audition, you audition, and then after that, the casting director will probably say, "We love it. Just maybe try to do this way." And when they do that, it doesn't mean you're not going to get the role, but it's just they want to see it a different way. That was the very first audition that I went to, and the casting director almost forgot to call cut. Like she literally was like, "Oh, cut," you know, and then she was like,
She was
wow.
just flowing with
She
it,
literally, she just all she said was she looked at me and she was like, "Wow," and I was like, "Do you want to see anything else?" Or whatever. She's like, "No, we're
Perfect.
good.
We like
We're
it.
good. Thank you."
That's
Thank
what we were
you. And I was
waiting
like,
for the
"Okay,
whole morning.
cool." And I walked out and I was like, and then at the end of shooting that, the director said to me that she looked at that at the audition clip, and immediately she was like, "I don't want to look at anything else. We found
Right,
our
this is
this
what I want.
person,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh,
Good
yeah,
job. Nah,
I'm
quality
good at
stuff.
what I do."
So we gotta.
yeah.
Unfortunately, time is caught up to us.
I see.
Oh God, call it. Jay, anything else there from your side, bro?
Nah, man. I
Come
just
back
wish
again,
you,
Bahumi.
Yeah, most definitely.
For your heated debates.
Definitely.
Yeah,
But
let's get into that. We need to debate next
Nah,
time.
most
Yeah.
def. But now, thank you so much for pulling up. We really appreciate it.
Blessings.
I pray God's blessings upon you.
Thank you.
I pray you go from strength to strength, victory to victory, and glory to glory. The best is definitely yet to come. We're definitely going to
Amen.
support you. We're with you. We're standing behind you. And we know that God has great things planned for you.
Thank you so
Yep.
much, Jay. I appreciate it.
Nah, I
Amen to
concur.
that.
I concur. Any closing remarks on your side?
Closing remarks on my side. Bye. No, thank you guys so much for having me. I genuinely appreciate it. I love platforms like this where you can just, be yourself and be free and just, chat it out. And I really feel free being here. So, yeah, be yourself, be who God called you to be, and you definitely cannot lose, especially in the long run.
Come on.
But, and again, I concur with you. But platforms like this allows you to say what's really going on and actually give people an in-depth look at what's really happening. And when you asked me, are there like points or whatever, I'm like, now we're just gonna kind of go with who you are and then go with what you're doing, and because then it allows. So because when it's too structured and tight, it's like, okay, answer this question, okay, answer the next question. But this is more of like, okay, take us through your journey,
Yeah.
and we'll follow.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming. I enjoyed it. It was a good show.
Thank you.
And please keep the faith.
Of course.
Please keep the faith.
Man.
Now
No,
you've been
I
keeping
know,
it, and I
yeah.
know it's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could keep it in the moments where it was unpopular to keep it, I'm pretty sure you can continue. God can continue holding.
Definitely.
it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
In my mind, I always feel like if God did that, I wonder what else is in store, because
Nah, definitely.
God just keeps doing this, and then the pressure gets,
It gets more, but
it gets more. But
the exposure is bigger as well.
yeah,
So God is like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll take you there. You can handle it, but I'm gonna get more glory. So let's go.
amen. Let's go.
But then, gentlemen, that's it from us. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you,
Please
fam.
do share the video also. And for everyone watching on the IG live, you can go check out the complete interview on the Inside Show on YouTube.
Shots.
And yeah, you can go watch the whole thing there. You're hearing different voices. You're not sure what we look like. Go check there. Go check there, and you can
Dope.
just catch that vibe there. Thanks so much for watching. See you on the next one. Also tonight, we're having a guest at 7 p.m. So you want to come through and check that out. She's been going viral for the past couple of weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Everyone's been sharing the videos, over 1 million views. So you want to come see her inside
say her
story on here.
Can I say her name?
Yes, you
say
can.
it.
Can I say it like how she says it?
No, you can't say it how she says it. You can't. And I actually have to tell her tonight she can't say her name how she says it.
bro.
Kaylee Fabulous
Hey, we need
Love!
to change that to fabulous. Thank you guys so much. See you tonight at 7. Love you. Goodbye.
What's up?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Tay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.